Do you break your own boundaries? In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess. I'm the sole founder of Life in Confidence. When we do not honor our needs and following through with them, we then invite others to do the same. And I'm speaking to childhood trauma number 3, the humanitarian. And when we have a parent that role models lack of boundaries and enmeshed relationships, where there's no boundaries, there's no privacy between the kid and the parent, that parent has taught us that we have no boundaries. In fact, that parent has violated and invaded our boundaries. And so we then allow others to do that with ourselves. We even do that to ourselves. So with childhood trauma number 3, which you can learn more in my free webinar, How to Overcome the Impacts of Childhood Trauma in 3 Months, which you can learn more and register in the link below. And this is all to do with suppression, which comes from masochism. Receiving negative pleasure. So when we think of pleasure, pleasure is usually a positive sensation, but we can also receive this dark negativity around pleasure, where we get something out of it by hating ourselves, by destroying ourselves, by procrastinating and not completing things through. And when we engage in this behavior, this is the deep cause of the trauma, is that you didn't feel safe in standing up for yourself, expressing your needs. More importantly, your desires. And to be able to say no. No means no. And sometimes when you say no, you don't even believe in it, or you struggle to hear your no's because you're so caught up in this enmeshment experience that you were conditioned with, that is showing up with other people, where it's easy for you to get gaslighted and buying into people's words without trusting and using and sharpening your discernment. What is true and what's absolute bullshit, just for their needs to get met. So, with this in mind, this particular trauma tends to collapse into the trauma, and they struggle to get out of it. They act out their negative tendencies by putting themselves last and everyone first. And this is how people can walk all over them. Whereas with childhood trauma number 2, in the previous video that I shared about the anxious personality type, childhood trauma number 2, they're quite defiant when it comes to their ego and pain. So their egoic mask is quite strong because they're defending their pain. They're defending themselves because they don't want to feel the pain. They've had enough of it. And so that's what keeps them stuck in this victimization for them. But with childhood trauma number 3, you collapse into the pain, you feel it, but you don't know how to process it. You don't know how to move forward with it. So you allow the overwhelm of negativity to get the best of you, and you become a doormat for people. So in this incredible trauma recovery journey that I've embarked on, is that what I've discovered is I need to learn what boundaries are for me. And to share and illuminate a personal experience of mine is that not long ago, I went to a women's circle, and what I've learnt from the guest facilitator who specializes in women's sexuality is that what she said is what you do in the bedroom is what you do in all areas of your life. And that clicked for me because I remembered in past experiences where I just had no boundaries with men. I just allow them to take over me. I didn't know how to say no because I was scared that I would reject them. I didn't know where should I have boundaries in the bedroom because no one taught me. And so from a series of experiences and having this education around my body and my sexuality, I start to understand the concept of boundaries. So this helps you to give you a guideline when you need to say no, especially when you collapse into procrastination, masochism, and suppression. And this has been one of the toughest traumas for me personally to work through, to not feel guilty or bad when I'm expressing anger or to give direct and honest feedback, but to own it. And that's what I invite you to do as well. So here are my practical tips in how you can start moving forward with this. First of all, where and how are you not honoring your no's? Where in your life are you not saying no to that needs to be a no? Are you saying yes to toxic friendships and conversations? Are you saying yes to toxic relationships? Are you saying yes to being in a toxic workplace with toxic work colleagues who are bullying you, harassing you? Are you saying yes to treating and trashing your body like absolute crap with junk food, processed foods, dead foods that's no longer alive? Where does it ever stop for you? So I invite you, first of all, where do you need to say no? Which area of your life do you need to say no? Get to know yourself intimately. And you can start by connecting with yourself in the bedroom. Connecting with yourself the way you show up in your self-care, if you have one. The way you show up when you are cooking, cleaning, doing something in your spare time that you either enjoy or loathe. Notice what is it that you like and what is it that you don't like. And what is it that you don't like is an indication where you need to say no to. So that's the first step. Where and how can you say no? By exploring what do you like and what you don't like. The second thing is to practice your no's. So this has given me confidence in expressing my no by practicing it out loud verbally and also having a script in my head how I want to say no to this person. And I realized the best way for me to say no is to be direct and clear in my communication without fluffing around and without being brutal either. So when I finally able to practice my no's, I started to become confident in saying no. So that's the second tip. The third tip is to now say no, to practice what you preach and learn. So practicing the power of saying no and say no. So for example, I remembered when I went to the Mind Body Spirit Festival, I was walking around and there's some store holders talking to me and want to give me their pamphlets. And I've realized that I don't want to take their pamphlets because it's a no for me. I'm not interested. And so I was so proud of myself that I finally said no to one of them that I had a conversation with about living water, because I've already used their products in the past and I'm not interested in engaging in again. And I was proud of myself to say, no, let me think about it. So start saying your no's and embrace the power of no. And when you keep honoring your no's, you start to become a different person. You have far more respect, love, and self-worth for yourself. And that is how you can honor your boundaries. And we don't always get it right the first time, and that's okay. But when you start to keep practicing and recognizing, oh, this is where I can say no to. And when a new experience arises where someone has broken your boundaries and it was unexpected, that's an experience that you can learn from and reflect on that experience and see, oh, how can I say no to this if that ever happens to me again? So then you're prepared how to communicate no whenever that happens to you again, rather than being gaslighted when someone walks all over you and keep repeating that same cycle, as well as doing that to yourself. So where do you stop the buck, not just with others, but with yourself? Where are you not saying no? Why are you not saying no? And you are your only best accountability buddy. So exercise your no's within yourself, perhaps where you're becoming overly indulgent, where you're spreading your energy and resources too thin, where you are overeating, or you are engaging in substances and people and activities that is soul drenching. It's time to say no. And if you would like to dive deeper with me, I invite you to attend my full moon ancestral trauma clearing circle via Zoom. You can learn more how you can rewrite your programming and book yourself a spot in the link below. I'm also running my New Moon Divine Abundance Circle and Ceremony, how you can expand your emotional abundance to feel free within yourself. And that can help you to feel safe to say no to. This is also spiritual abundance and how you can experience this connection with spirit to guide you to be in alignment with yourself and in alignment and honoring your boundaries in relationships, the way you engage with food, with money, with all sorts of things. So if you feel called for this, I am running this via Zoom and at my place in Bondi Beach. So please click on the links below to learn more and book your spot. And if you would love to live a life beyond trauma, you can learn more about my upcoming Transforming Trauma 2-day workshops that I'm running in Sydney, interstate and overseas. So you can click on the link below to learn more. And I only take 8 people maximum for a sacred container. So you can book your ticket there. You can also book a free clarity call via Zoom to see if this experience is right for you, any questions, concerns, or if you need to be on a payment plan. And I'm happy to work with you on that. So if you got something from this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to help me to help as many people as I can through my messages. You can like my video, share it with your loved ones, or comment below, just so I know that you actually got something out of this. So there you have it, my love. Get to know yourself intimately and so deeply. You are worth getting to know. And may you remember to be the light that's in your heart.